Hello, Bill Molyneux here with Bill's History and Wargame World. Well, I did a poll both on my Facebook site and on YouTube, and it looks like we're going to try an American Civil War Ironclad game in 1/1200 scale. I'll be setting up the tripod. I won't bore everyone with a lengthy video, but right now let's start off with the rules. Okay. Well, Wargame rules, Beer and Pretzel Ironclads by Buck Surdrew. Buck's written a ton of Wargame rules, Combat Patrol. The Gettysburg Area Gamers, my old Wargaming group, we use these rules a lot. Now, we modified them probably over 10 years ago. So let's go look at the modified sheet. Now, Buck's rules are fine, but sometimes we had 10 to 12, 15 people playing, so we streamlined it, really streamlined. It's still the same rules, but everything's just been streamlined. All right, here's our critical hits chart, and let's take a look at the ships, and I'll pause the camera here. This video probably will be much longer than a regular video. So we're going to look at the USS Hartford. And there she is. Our scenario is we have a fictional river. 2 Union wooden ships are blockaded here. And then we have 3 small ships, riverboats. Union there, and then I'll head over to see what's going on for the Confederacy. But our Hartford here, you see it has speed of 13 inches, hull of 44 points, armor is wood, guns, 2 mediums, 10 on port and starboard for mediums, and 1 aft medium. And it gets a +1 to be hit because it's a big target. The playing card, all the cards for these ships will be shuffled, and when I pull a card, it activates that ship, and it can move and fire. All right, going around the riverbank, here's some of the small ships we have for the Union. 9 hit points. This is the USS General Thomas, and over here we have our Confederacy, the Columbia, the CSS Neuse. And if you've never seen the CSS Neuse or the CSS Neuse 2, zip down to Kinston, North Carolina, and visit both museums. Wonderful people work there. And its sister ship, the Albemarle. All right. And of course, they have cards too. So in my Beer, Pretzel, Bill's game, we'll just really quick sequence of play. We flip a card. That card activates. There's a ramming, firing guns, roll to penetrate. So you roll the hit, then you roll to penetrate the type of armor. And then roll for damage. So I'm going to assign the cards to the ships. I'm going to put the camera in the tripod. And it's a lazy Friday afternoon, still on vacation. And I'll play through this. I probably do an entire one roll of combat with the ships, but I won't bore you all. And I'll do summaries per turn. And right now, I think the Confederacy has to do as much damage as possible and then get back upstream. So I don't think they'll have enough zap to destroy all 5 ships, but we'll see. Thank you. Well, I'm on turn 1. We've had a few ships move. The Albemarle and the CSS Neuse. Now the Neuse has moved to here with its measly 6 inches. However, the USS Elfin paddle wheeler is here. And I checked the range and we're at 36 inches. So I'm not going to do a lot of combat, rolling dice, and bore everyone. I'm going to do recaps, but for the first time, just to show people how the rules work, at 33 inches with the CSS Neuse heavy gun, first we have to roll the hit, which at 36 inches, it needs a 4, 5, or a 6. Actually, at 33 inches. So we roll one die, and we missed. Now, we're going to say that was a miss, but I will go through and do if we did a hit. So we'll say we rolled a 6, and it hit. So we hit at 36 inches, the 33, -1 for penetration. So the next thing we do is the armor class of the Eflin is light armor. So you see the light armor, which is here, with a very heavy gun. A 2 through 6 will penetrate. For a 3, I rolled a 3, so we penetrated, and it does 3 extra points if it goes into the hull. So the USS Eflin has been hit, and we roll a die again, and for damage, and it's a 1. So I roll the 1. So the Eflin lost 1 speed point. So it lost an inch of speed. That's what would have happened if the CSS Neuse actually hit. Now in my game, I like to have a lot of firing going on, so my guns are automatic reloaded every time the card flips. In Buck's Beer and Pretzel Ironclads, he has it where they have to take a turn to reload. But if you're playing large games with a lot of people, I like to have a lot of shot and shell flying around. Alright, I'm going to continue on until something exciting happens, and then I'll video that. Stay tuned for more Ironclad action. If you haven't subscribed, please do. I'm closing in on 1,000 subscribers. Alright, well, we stopped the battle action for a moment. Both the Albemarle and the Columbia Confederate Ironclads have moved up, and they fired on the USS Nymph. Both scored hits with their very heavy guns, and the USS Nymph has lost no weapons or speed, but it's taken a pounding in the armor. It's got like 5 hit points left, and it'll be sunk. Its card just activated. So, it only has 2 guns. It can make 2 turns, and this is how the turns work. There's 1 and 2, and it's gonna sail up a couple more inches, and I can adjust speed by 2 up and 3 down, and I'm gonna try to get out of there with that ship, because it's going to get sunk before it even gets into combat. I gotta get behind that little island for some cover until the big Hartford and the Colorado heavy gun frigates arrive. Even though they're wooden ironclads, they're boasting 10 cannons each. Alright, let's continue the action. Alright, the Eflin has moved, and that particular ship, this is the Eflin, and it's going to fire at the Albemarle with its, unfortunately, the Eflin is armed with a medium gun, and range is roughly 20 inches, with 1 round at 20 inches. We roll the old die, we hit with a 6, and then we get out our sheet here, and then the Albemarle's armor, however, is heavy. So we cross-index the heavy armor with the medium gun, and I need a 6 to penetrate. Oh gosh. It bounces off the armor. So that was not so good. I don't know how these wooden paddle wheelers will do. I'm thinking I'm going to have some issues. Alright, let's get back to battle, and I hope you're enjoying this Ironclad game. Alright, so not to bore everyone, I've completed 3 turns. I'm on going into turn 4. Really quickly, the Hartford's coming up here. It did take a round from the Columbia and suffered 4 points of damage. The paddle wheelers, this one, the Nymph is almost gone. The Eflin that's trying to deal with the CSS Neuse and the Albemarle, it's got like 4 hit points left, and also it's lost its forward gun. The big wooden ships, the idea is to come around both sides and fire broadsides into them. So we're going into turn 4. The Ironclads have not suffered any damage yet. The wooden paddle wheelers are really getting chewed up. Alright, very fun, enjoyable game. 3 turns took me about 25 minutes to play so far. Alright, I flipped a 4 for turn 4 on the very first turn, and we're going to have some red car 4 is the Albemarle, and it's going to move, ram, and fire its main gun into the Elfin. So I'm going to set up the camera real close and try this out. Alright, here we go. Well, first off, the Albemarle's card has gone. It moves first, and the Albemarle is going to ram. And of course, I know I have plenty of movement to get there using this tape measure. And so we have to roll on the ramming chart. And I roll a 2, which is the speed difference. Well, the Eflin is moving in an 8, a 7, the 6. I'm a -1. I needed a 4, 5, or a 6. So it's going this way. And it just glanced off and missed. Well, that's pretty frustrating. So the Albemarle tried to ram the Eflin, but because it's still moving faster. Now, we're going to fire the Albemarle's heavy gun. And it rolled a hit. And rolling again with a heavy, very heavy gun. The Eflin's armor is light. It goes through it like a hot knife through butter. At that range, it does an extra plus 4 points of damage. And I rolled a 1, which is 5 points of damage total. And it's the Eflin's boilers are shot. It can no longer move. Alright, let's pause the camera here. The USS Colorado frigate, it has 1 forward heavy gun, and it's going to fire at the CSS Neuse at 16 inches. And whoops, there's the Neuse. And I'll leave the camera down, see what happens with this very heavy gun. It hits. The CSS Neuse has heavy armor against the very heavy gun. It's a forward pivot gun on the Colorado, and it rolled a 1, so it bounced off the CSS Neuse's armor. Alright, I'm going to pause the camera and move some more ships around. Alright, well, I've completed turn 4. I'm going to do a recap here. So the USS Eflin paddle steamer is gone. It is sinking. And we got the little sinking ship there. The CSS Neuse is bearing down on the USS Colorado. The Hartford is trying to close in on the CSS Columbia. And then the Albemarle is going to have to turn port or starboard. I haven't decided if it's going to help its sister ship, the CSS Neuse, or not. And then the two paddle wheelers, the Nymph and the General Thomas, they've scooted around behind the island. And the Nymph is actually quite damaged. It still has its guns, 2 medium guns, but very few hit points left. Alright, so I'm going into turn 5, and I'm just going to play through turn 5 and then come back and show you where we're at. A lot will determine the cards and whose order card comes up first. Alright, we're on turn 5. I know I said I might play through turn 5 and do a recap, but the first card was a red, which is Confederacy, and it also turns out to be the CSS Neuse, which I did visit. It has a speed of 6. So it's going to come bearing right down. It's doing the best speed it can do. And we're going to fire its forward Brook gun, very heavy Brook gun. And at this range, anything but a 1. We roll the 5. There it is. I should have out my Peter dice. Now we're going to see what happens to this wooden Ironclad. Very heavy wood. It automatically penetrates. It does 4 bonus points worth of damage. Wow. And it knocked out 8 guns out of the, went right down the, knocked out its forward pivot gun. Wow. Now I'm not counting crew. Buck's official rules have a crew count. I don't do the crew. I streamlined these many years ago to get 10 to 15 people to play with a couple ships each, and I'm quite happy with my streamlining. But Buck's system works great too, especially if you just have 1 ship per person and you've got 3 or 4 people playing. Alright, well, the Neuse opened up. Let's see what happens. I'm going to let the camera go. I hope you're not going to get bored. Card 2 just went, which is the Hartford. I'm going to go ahead and move the Hartford up. Alright, the Hartford can make 1 turn, and 1 turn only. So it came through here, turn, it's now going to fire its broadside. And it's going to be firing into the Columbia. I'm going to pause the camera and get all my dice together and my card, and come back to you in a moment. Okay, the Hartford has 2 forward firing pivot guns. So 1 will be able to fire to the port, and then 10 more, so 11 dice, medium guns, and they're at short range, 2 through 6 to hit. And I got 11 dice here, and boy, 9 hits. So let's see what's going to happen with penetration. The Columbia, we'll get out our chart here. These are medium guns penetrating heavy armor. Needing 6s, but we're at extreme short range, so 5 or 6s will penetrate. And, well, medium guns and heavy armor don't mix, so we only got 1 hit on the CSS Columbia, and it's 1 speed point. So an entire broadside fired into the Columbia, and all she lost was 1 speed point. Now those were medium guns against heavy armor. Alright, well, let's flip some more cards. Black 3, which is the Colorado. Alright, the Colorado is fighting the CSS Neuse. I'm going to pause the camera, move the ship, and then resolve combat. Alright, I really messed up. The Colorado is sitting here, and I was cruising along as fast as I could at 13 inches. I didn't want to run into the CSS Neuse, but because of its size, it only can make one turn port or starboard, and I only can slow down by 3 inches, so I plowed, believe it or not, I took a hard right turn, and I've hit the shore. Nothing I can do about it, other than I could have risked running into the Neuse. Running into the Neuse with ramming, that isn't considered a ram. It doesn't have a ram. The wooden hull would just crumble. So I'm stuck on the shore. I do have an aft gun that can fire. So the pivot gun in the aft is firing. It's very heavy. It rolled a hit. The CS Neuse has been hit by a very heavy gun, and it's fired here. And let's see if it penetrates that. The Neuse has got heavy armor, and it penetrates the Neuse. Uh-oh. The Neuse took a critical damage. So right now I'm going to pause the camera. Alright, the CSS Neuse has first has to take 1d6 worth of damage in the hull, which it does. It has 25 hit points. So we took 1 point. Now we're going to roll on the critical hit chart. So here we go. And I rolled a 3. The rudder is damaged. It may only move left, right, or straight. And it can only move straight from now on until it gets repaired and it's card flipping on a 4, 5, or 6. So I'm going to put down in my notes, straight only. And the Neuse is got a broken rudder. Alright, and I have the Colorado caught up on the shore because I didn't think I had to slow the ship down earlier. So you can adjust your speed by 3 inches. You can increase by 2 and decrease by 3. But unfortunately, I was going 13 and I just plowed into the shore. Its guns can still fire, and I guess I should do a d6 of damage to the hull for plowing into the shore for 5 points into the hull. And then I'm going to roll a d6 in the future to try to get it off the shore, but probably it's stuck there. We're going to say a 6. It can back out. All right, well, my next card came up was an ace, and that's the Columbia. So I'm going to, it can make one turn and move 5 inches because it's taken damage. Let's pause the camera, I'll move it, and then we'll come. All right, everyone, well, the Columbia had 1 good turn left, or to port, and 4 speed points still after the turn. It's going straight for the Hartford. Now the Hartford's moving faster, but I'm on the broadside of it, and let's see what happens. So, and a 4 does it. So it's been rammed. First we're going to fire the bow gun. So let's see what happens with the bow gun. And the Hartford takes a hit with the very heavy gun, and it is a critical hit. Roll again. So the Hartford has taken 5 points from the gun, from its forward gun. There you go, 5 more points. However, it's a critical, and I have a fire on board. 1d6 of more hull points. That's not good. Now the Hartford has to put this fire out every turn its card comes up. If not, it suffers a d6 of damage each turn. Fires are bad on wooden ships. Alright, now I got to resolve the ramming effect. This is the Columbia. It possesses a ram. And I'll pause the camera and have you look at the chart with me. Alright, so we're on the charts. I want to just let you know that when I did roll for the critical hit, we got the fire, but if we rolled a 6, it would take 2d6 of damage, and then we roll again. If you get another 6, the darn thing blows up. So 3 6s in a row is bad for any ship in my game. Alright, we're going to the ram. The Columbia has rammed, and it's going to do 1d6 plus 2 into the hull. So here we go. And 9 points into the Hartford. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the hull has been compromised. We're gonna pause the camera here. Okay, I'm back. I flipped the card for the Eflin, which is sunk, and then the General Thomas went, and it's a little paddle wheeler, and I didn't figure out the scenario so well, but it's going to come around and try to help the Hartford. And the Hartford's really shot up now. It's missing, it's on fire, has a big hole in its hull, but my red 4 has come up, which is the Albemarle, and I think she's going to turn, and I don't think I can ram, but I'm going to pause the camera here. So it has a movement of 6, but it only can make 1 turn. No, because of its size, it can make 2 turns per turn. So that's 1 inch, 2 inches. There's 2 inches. It has a speed of 5, 6, and it can ram also. So the Albemarle is coming in to ram. Now we have to see if it glances off or not. All right, let's see if we glance off, and we rolled a 5. The Hartford's right now dead in the water at this point. I needed to roll a 2 through 6, which I made it. The Hartford, the gunnery fire happens first, so both guns can fire, and I rolled a 5 and a 6. So the Hartford is taking penetrations automatic with wooden vessels at this range with very heavy 6.4 Brook rifles, as the CSS Neuse has, and the Education Center. So let's do the damage to the Hartford. We rolled a 1, which is a speed point off the Hartford. So the Hartford's really starting to look chopped up, as you see, hull-wise. But I rolled a 6, so that's okay, the Hartford just took 6 points off the critical, and we roll again, and the Hartford is on fire a second time with another d6 of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the Hartford is down to about 3 hit points. Not good. So, and the ram is the Hartford is now gone. So, I'm not going to do any kind of a test to see if the Hartford takes down a ship that's rammed it. I know that was close to happening. I believe the Albemarle had that. So we're going to roll snake eyes here, and no snake eyes there. So we're going to say both ships punch their holes into the Hartford. So the Hartford just got zapped. It's now sinking, on fire. And I'm going to back our camera off. And I'm going to pause the camera and revamp a little bit. Okay, for turn 5, the last card to come up is the Nymph with its 4 or 5 hit points left and 2 light guns. I think the Nymph is going to consider moving out. I have it going at a speed of 4. And I'm going to shuffle the deck. We're done with turn 5. Alright, well, in this action, the Hartford is now sunk. The Eflin is sunk. So we lost the Hartford. It's gone. The Eflin is sunk. And then the Colorado is up on shore. Not too good there. The Nymph is down to about 5 hit points. Alright, I am now going to say for my Ironclad video that we are going to send the CSS Neuse, Albemarle, and Columbia back to Kinston, up the river, or wherever they were at in my fictional world. And we're going to call this a game. First of all, I brought out the paddle wheelers too soon, and I didn't wait for the Hartford and Colorado. I split them up. I should have had them attack with their broadsides instead of going at them full speed. And of course, I screwed up in my naval thinking there. Once again, I hope you enjoyed this video. Beer and Pretzel Ironclads by Buck Sergio is available on Wargame Vault. The Beer and Pretzel Ironclad, basically one page of rules, are available on my Facebook site at No Stress Miniature Wargamers. And that's where anything goes as far as miniature wargaming, including unpainted plastic figures. No stress there. And Beer and Pretzel Ironclads, Buck Sergio, and these are available Wargame Vault. I can't remember, I may be $10. They're not expensive at all. PDF file. My Ironclad ships, purchased them here and there, flea market. I probably have 60 or so Ironclads. I'd like to say thank you to everyone that's watched this long video. Please consider looking up my other videos on the CSS Neuse. Based in Kinston, there is an education center with the actual hall of the CSS Neuse, along with the CSS Neuse 2, it's fully restored, or not restored, it's a reproduction, sitting on dry land, and it is one nifty ship. And Goober the Traveling Bear did an incredible video of the CSS Neuse. Now I'm going to ask if please subscribe to my channel. I'm closing in on 1,000 subscribers. Also leave comments. I think my next game I'm going to video is 54mm The Battle of Yorktown. Now I'm not sure how I'm going to do that, but I'll figure it out. And I believe Saturday I'll be at Walt Leach's house for another exciting miniature war game at his incredible wargaming club group that he has there on Saturdays. Well, that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you watched the entire thing. Thank you. Stay safe. Be kind. Be courteous. And if you're sailing a ship, make sure you slow down when you can't make hard lefts and right turns in a channel. Thank you.